You know those people that you always see on your way to work? They're pulling their boat to the lake. They're always catching a flight, posting from wherever they are in the world. They're at home spending time with their kids. They're going to Target on a Tuesday at 10 a.m. And you wonder, do these people have jobs? And these are the people that I gave the side eye until I became one of them. I used to be one of those miserable people that were unsatisfied with their work and just wondering if there was more to life. I even subconsciously took it out on those people. Their happiness was like my problem. I regret to admit that I was one of those must be nicers. You know those people that say must be nice to everything? This video is the story of how I went from clocking in, watching everyone live the life that I wish I had, to becoming a full-time content creator who builds my own schedule, chases my passion, and works on a business that I love that grows every year. Honestly, it feels like a roller coaster growing by the month at this point. It's crazy. So if you've ever felt stuck, jealous, or like that could never be me, then keep watching, because I was exactly where you are until my life absolutely changed forever, and it will never be what I knew it as. So this is my new series, The Camo CEO, a series dedicated to helping creators and ambitious entrepreneurs build sustainable, profitable businesses in the digital space. I share real strategies, systems, and insights from my experience building the life of my dreams. And most of what I've done in Mossy Oak Camouflage. Whether you're growing an online platform, developing a personal brand, or turning your skills into revenue, this series is designed to give you clarity, direction, and practical steps you can apply immediately. So please subscribe, take notes, and let's build something wild. Okay, the story part. Let's rewind to 2019. I was working at an outdoor industry PR agency, doing the behind-the-scenes stuff, publishing press releases, meeting with outdoor media, managing influencers, trade shows, and networking my way within the industry. Can I start out by saying it was a really solid job, a dream job for someone coming out of college with outdoor interests and passions. And at that job, I was learning a lot. And in case any of my old coworkers are watching this, can I just start out by saying I had no clue what I was doing? Some of the things I had to do at my job, I was like, my professors did not cover this. Holy crap. It was a real kick in the teeth. And there were points in my career when I learned just how unorganized and not ready for the real world I was. I had outdoor clients. My strengths were that I knew the product. I knew the industry. If we were on a meeting with media and we were talking about best fishing lures from my client, I could sell it like it was the back of my hand. I was very educated about my clients' products because I was a user. Weaknesses. Though I was thankful to work on such big accounts, brands that I knew that were in Academy and Bass Pro Shops and Walmart, I still struggled managing them. I honestly was not organized and put together enough to work on large accounts at such a high level. I didn't manage my time that well. I didn't problem solve that well. Looking back, I'm just thankful that someone took a risk on hiring a kid straight out of college. And it was truly eye-opening, the things I needed to work on personally and professionally to be better. 2 to 3 years went by and my social media was growing quite a bit. First things first, it was awkward. I would wake up with 10,000 new followers, go about my day job, then go back home and film. And attending these work events and trade shows gave me extreme anxiety. Because I was there to do my job and work for my clients. All of a sudden, people came up to me asking for pictures. My friends there wanted to make TikToks with me, and it was just an extremely weird spot to be in, trying to not get in trouble. But I handled the social growth and the work expectations the best I knew how. Plus, it was COVID times, so it was really a weird time for everybody. But keeping a good job versus taking great opportunities was my constant daily struggle. My social accounts kept growing, and I saw the long road of opportunity that came with that. And it was like something clicked. I sat at my desk most days with so much ambition, I could barely sit still. I could barely keep my feet on the ground. I say this a lot. The hourly rate that I made at that job, it occurred to me in that moment that it took me a whole hour to make it. Things became clear. I was like, why should it take a whole hour to make that? I wanted something to make me money while I was sleeping at night, so I didn't have to sit at a desk all day. Based on what I was making with social media, I calculated the hourly rate that I was making from it, based on the time that I put into it. And it turned out that I was losing money by going to work every day. At this point, I'm like, what is going on in my life? What kind of can of worms have I opened with this TikTok thing? And I projected myself to make more doing social media than I did at my full-time job that year. So I respectfully began to plan my escape during what they now call your 5 to 9, which is what you do after your 9 to 5. Something that lights you up, that you're passionate about, and you're making money from. I also took a good look around at my peers, like people who I graduated high school and college with. Like they were educated at the same time I was. We all graduated together, and I was looking at what they were doing. People that had the same amount of time as I did. Some already had their own successful businesses. Some were scaling the corporate ladder and making some real money. Now let's be real, some had 3 kids and some were in jail. So I wasn't doing that bad. Unfortunately, I could already see the ceiling in my career, and social media for me was the way that I could break through it. And for those of us who are ambitious, curious, and forward-thinking, being able to see the ceiling in your career 2 to 3 years after you graduate college is a really uncomfortable spot to be in. And ultimately, it put a lot of pressure on me to make a leap of faith. Something deep inside of me was so uncomfortable and fired up about average day at work, average pay. And so around Christmas of 2021, I decided to make a change. First, I left the agency and I started doing contract work. I mostly managed social media accounts for companies within the outdoor industry, mainly in fishing. And it was a very scary leap, but it gave me a lot of flexibility, which at the time I really wanted. I found a rather large company within the fishing industry that paid me a really good hourly rate. I worked about 30 to 40 hours within the week managing social accounts. That covered my bills and then some. And I'm lucky because that one opportunity alone made it possible for me to leave my job and pursue social media at least part-time. More than anything, I had the flexibility to make things happen. Plus, I was now my own boss, so if I needed to take a break in the middle of the day to film content, I could. If I needed to work from a hunting camp, I could. And I did. I did a lot. I worked everywhere but an office, anywhere but home. In this period, I would say I had around 100,000 to 300,000 followers on TikTok, somewhere in there. It's probably a year and a half that I did that. And I had around 70 to 100K on Instagram. Then I soared past 200K on Instagram, about 500,000 on TikTok, and that's when I really began to rethink the whole managing other people's social media thing. I was very thankful for that work, and I was not above it, but the work that my social media was requiring was so demanding, and ultimately more important to me. In the spring of 2023, I had a big jump. I was managing several clients' accounts, and I was in a hot period of growth. It was unreal. I was riding this wave of virality. Every week, I would bring in 50,000 to 100,000 followers every single week on TikTok. Tens of thousands on Instagram every single week. So that was in the spring, but this steady growth lasted through the year. I remember on the last day of the year that year, I was sitting at 1 million on TikTok and about 250K on Instagram. Back to the part about how I said my social was so demanding. To achieve and sustain that kind of growth during that period of my career, we weren't just posting a video every day. There were times where I would have to put everything aside and post 7 videos a day. Sounds ridiculous, but it was working, and I committed to it. During my most viral period of growth, I posted 7 videos a day. Do the math. I did it on the weekends too. That's 49 videos a week. And I pushed out that schedule for a few months, which meant I had less and less time to put toward my clients. Eventually, I let it all go, and that meant I was a full-time content creator. Today, I've continued to experience this just unimaginable growth on social media and a career that I truly feel has been blessed by God. This video may sound like I did this and I did that, but it was always God, and He always had this plan for me. In being full-time, working for myself, there have been one too many learning curves, and they really humbled me. And people always ask if I get burnt out with the content. I'm like, no. It's truly fun, but I love filming, I love creating, and a big key to the success for me is I delegate everything that I don't want to do or I don't have time to do. You don't get burnt out by having fun, you get burnt out by a job. And this is so important. This truth changed my life when I heard it. This sat so uncomfortably with me, but if you're not working towards your dream, you're working towards someone else's. So here are a few takeaways from my story. Don't be afraid to get real-world experience first. It doesn't mean you can't film and create things you love on the side. Just don't work on it at work. Give your boss a good, honest day, and then go work on what lights you up and what you love. Consider part-time work that bridges the gap between full-time employee to full-time content creator. Find something, even remote work. Hello, it's 2025, post-COVID world. There's jobs you can find on your computer and you can do it from home. Find something that covers your bills and your expenses, then full send it on the content side. If you're building something and you're anything like me, you're probably thinking too small. Maybe you're not. I did. Once I made it, I was able to see so much further. That salary that you're making, like that dollar amount, could be something that you're invoicing someone in a few years. Let that sink in. Last, if you're going to do content full time, heck, if you're going to do anything full time, you have to treat it seriously and like a business if you want to succeed at a high level. If you just want to get by, maybe not. Like, what's your plan? For me, it was hiring on help. After I went full time, I realized this is where the growing stops if I don't hire on someone. I will not grow anymore because I'm at my capacity. I was past my capacity. I said, I'm not going to grow anymore if I don't grow my team. Making and sticking to a strict posting schedule. Snapchat is something I've grown in the past year, and it's like if I get ready to lay my head down and I haven't posted my 20 snaps a day that I commit to, sorry, it ain't bedtime yet. It's a system I have. It's a box that I check every day, and I'm serious about it, and I'm pretty hard on myself. More on my systems later. For me, it was studying analytics, studying new platforms, algorithms, how to get monetized on ones that I wasn't. For me, it was pitching big rates to companies, not being afraid to charge for quality, and filming a ton of videos, even when the last thing I want to do is be on camera. So that's the story of not how I did it, but what God did through me in my career. I'm so thankful for the ambitions that God placed on my heart because it makes me want to be better every day. It makes me want to grow. If I grow more, I can give more. If I grow more and learn more, I can help others. If I learn how to delegate better, I can create more content that glorifies God and reach wider audiences. I also have a lot of fun. I think and operate on such a higher level now because I've had quality work experience in my industry working in someone else's business, but also running my own. I go to sleep every night excited about what I get to work on the next day. And you can too. If you have any other topics at all that you'd like to hear me speak on, let me know in the comments. And please subscribe so you don't miss it. It's a great way to support me. It helps a lot. That's my story. I hope it inspires you to chase your passions and build something wild. See you guys.